not because we're not proud of our heritage. It's because of assimilation. It's because of, like you said, things that divide us.
Not always
conquer
by
us.
choice.
And this might be controversial, but what do you always say about like the Spanish? Like they came and conquered
Oh,
and shook our culture so much
I
to
s-
our indigenous roots. To
I
where,
said that what the Spanish did is probably the most gangster thing you ever in history. They basically manipulated the minds of our people here to not only like just to like lose like their
Identity.
lose their identity and think that there's something that they're actually not.
Exactly.
That is how gangster is that?
I mean,
That's
I mean, not
sickening. It's disgusting. But what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Spanglish. We're super excited to be back and with some celebrities in their own right, especially out here in Colorado. We got the boys that are shining. They're dripped out in gold. We're here with Benny and Abe Gallegos, better known to the world as Denver Foos. What's up, fellas? Come on,
What's up, Spanglish Podcast? Thank you for having us.
What's going on? We're doing good, baby.
Yeah, you guys are doing good.
Busy.
You guys are always busy, carnal. Anyone that lives in the Rocky Mountain area, and I feel like outside of it has seen. If they haven't seen your faces, they've definitely heard the catchphrase. You know what I mean? Everywhere, you guys are all over social media, brother. And I had the el gusto of meeting you guys a few weeks back at the homies art gallery and art presentation. Sorry, and you guys are doing some really cool things, brother. Congratulations, first of all. Introduce your guys yourselves. Tell us where you're from, where your parents are from, just so people get to know the story behind the people in front and behind the camera.
Well, congratulations to you to having this platform.
Yes.
Somebody out here, there's not a lot of platforms like yours. So we definitely wanted to come and rock with you
Appreciate you, brother.
and just mend these cultures and our people and
Well.
all that. My name's Benny Frank Gallegos.
I'm Abe the president.
So I mean, there's a lot more to us than just the meme page that
Absolutely.
started as a meme page. We're about 7 generation from Denver, Colorado, or Colorado, Southern Colorado, San Luis Valley, Northern New Mexico, but mostly Colorado. We have roots, deep Spanish roots, deep indigenous roots.
Yeah.
Before the whole, before it was the United States, the
Yep.
flag changed twice over our ancestors.
I love that.
At first it was Spain, then it was Mexico,
Yeah.
and then it became the United States. And we're here. We're
You guys
still
have been here. You're still here. I
I
think that's the
got you.
biggest thing. We've never left. I think that's the coolest thing that our brown faces are still.
Oh yeah,
very
any
much
of us up here, even south of the border, it's
all
beautiful.
connected. Carnal. Like, that's the beauty about it, no?
Yes.
We have adaptation. We've been able to adapt through many generations, whether it's through assimilation, which is sometimes not always the best
Not
thing.
the best thing.
But we've been able to adapt through 3 different regimes, flags, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We're still
We're
here,
still
baby.
And I think that some friends and I talk about, it's that's what makes our generation or us the offsprings of people that migrated or have been here or have assimilated, that we're like the most dangerous ones because they can't really mess with us because we know both cultures, we know both languages,
Yes.
and a lot of, we're not gonna say who, but they don't, they're like, damn, these guys, they're not their parents or not their grandparents, like we can't screw them over because they got both sides of it, you know what I mean? So what you were speaking on, we need to work together and really see how we can really help our community out. Newcomers, people that have been here, people that are showing up, we kind of have to lead the way and always lend that helping hand because that's, somebody did that for our grandparents or for our parents, so we have to do that for them,
Yes, I mean, we lived in Las Vegas for 8 years. We lived in Los Angeles for 9 years.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas,
Nevada.
not New Mexico. not New Mexico. You got to shout out,
Right?
to Las
Shout out
Vegas,
to Las Vegas, New Mexico, yeah.
So we've been able to have that adaptation and have that experience where I believe a lot of Denver Foos sometimes they don't mesh where it's a first generation Mexicans or Chicanos.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, there's so many variables we could go down the road.
Right.
So our experience gives us the bigger picture of like, no, like It don't matter. We've been going through this same fight and this divide within our people
Exactly.
for generations.
Exactly.
Before it was America.
Yep.
Before it was Mexico.
Yep.
Before even it was Spain when the tribes were all fighting.
Yeah.
I'm
What
getting
were we just
chills
no
right
no?
now
But what were we
saying
just
that.
talking about? Even with sports, like
Right.
it's just
All right.
I think it's always like be proud of where you're from and what you rep and whatever that looks like, but understand that we're still us. It's
still
still us.
heritage.
Exactly. Siempre raza. So I remember when we first moved from LA to Denver, and my brothers and my cousins remember this. That's the clash that we had because we're born in LA, but I feel like LA at that time was still very much more Mexicano, 100%, and when we came out here, it was like a Chicano culture that was very different from the LA one. So we would see homies that kids, right? We're all kids at this point that look like us, that brown like us, like we said, nopal en la frente, same last names,
Oh, right.
and we would go up to them and be like, "¿Qué onda?" We would talk to them in Spanish, and they'd be like, I don't speak Spanish, bro.
Right.
What the fuck? Like it was right away like this thing, like
Right.
I'm not you, you're not me,
It was like a defensive.
bro. And it was fights. It was always fights because we didn't like it and they didn't like us. So it was like this thing. And as you get older and as you start to learn about how like systems oppress us and how that kind of like divide and conquer mentality that's still happening today, you have to kind of like grow up and being like, all right, that's still my brother, that's still my sister. It don't matter if he's from a different city. It don't matter if he likes a different team. Like it's ultimately still we got to stay together and breaking those barriers. It doesn't matter if you're from Mexico, from Arizona, from LA, from Nevada, from Colorado, Texas. Like we're still very much brown before we're those little subcategories, you know? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is one of the biggest things I believe here, like the Spanish language, not speaking it versus speaking it. That's
Exactly.
always the biggest clash
Right.
immediately. Unfortunately, we don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But there are reasons to it too. It's
Exactly.
not because we're not proud of our heritage. It's because of assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of, like you said, things that divide us.
Always
conquer
by
us.
choice.
And this might be controversial, but what do you always say about like the Spanish? Like they came and conquered and shook our culture so much to our indigenous roots.
I said that what the Spanish did is probably the most gangster thing you ever in history. They basically manipulated the minds of our people here to not only like just to like lose like their
Identity.
lose their identity and think that there's something that they're actually not.
Exactly.
That is how gangster is that?
I mean,
That's
sickening. It's disgusting.
That's
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think that what I think you were speaking about this earlier. They tapped in or they enforced
Right.
religion being such a big thing in fear.
Right.
So it was for our indigenous people. It was like, okay, cool. This is your new God. This is the new person you're gonna pray to. So it's they erase people's identity, their beliefs, their way of prayer. What were our temples and our pyramids is like, no. Now we're gonna build a church on top of it. So many things. So
That-
it really started, and once it starts, it's like now the kids, now the offsprings, now like you said, they're like, well, I'm more Spanish, or I'm more, I'm no longer indigenous. Now my hair's short. Now I pray to this God. So you start to lose it. You know what I mean? So what they did was very well thought out, and it is very methodical.
Right.
But yeah, they did it, and we're the offsprings of that, right? We're mestizos too. We're mixed with Spanish, so we're an interesting offspring, right? We're an interesting offspring. But I think it's for me and for a lot of other brown brothers and sisters, I'm at the point where I want to reconnect with my indigenous side now more than ever, right? Because I get it, we're mixed, we're mestizos, but more than anything, I know just how I look and how I feel. I see myself more with my indigenous blood than I have with my Spanish blood, and you know what I mean. Sometimes it's hard for little kids, little girls. It's just, you know, when you have an image that's always like, look, it's a white person with blue eyes. Most of us don't look like that. You know what I mean? And we're taught to hate or think of brown as like negative. So my biggest thing is like changing that narrative of being like, no, brown is beautiful. Brown, our facial features, our noses, our skin, like that is as beautiful and as beautiful, if not, you know what I mean? And not to say white isn't, but it's just like, hey, if it's okay, like we are just as beautiful and as strong as that. Like,
Right.
but we're brainwashed otherwise. Media through a lot.
So we were fortunate enough because my father, he looks very white. He's got green eyes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then my mother's the complete.
He's got skin tags y todo. he's very light. You know?
And my mom is a dark
Right,
lady.
right, yeah.
You know, they're the polar opposites. So I think they've been married for 42 years. So
Right.
shout out to mom and dad.
Hey, shout out to them.
But I think growing up in a household like that had opened our minds and
Seeing
for us
both
to
sides of
see
it.
both sides and to see that reciprocated love from a person like white
Yep.
and brown. I'm just realizing that right now, right? Because like you said, there's all these manipulation tactics and divide and conquer tactics, and brown isn't beautiful and white is because
It's pure, it's clean.
it goes back
yeah.
to the Spanish before it was even Mexico for 500 years. The Spanish had a hierarchy, a brutal hierarchy, even more brutal than America.
Oh yeah.
So it got to the point where when it turned from Spain to Mexico, the Dons and all the people that were in Mexico at the time that inhabited the United States, they were still on that hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
It's like you have can I cuss?
Of course.
You kind of have like the shitty people from Spain that came out here, like top flight security of the world type
Exactly,
people.
yeah.
So then they got an ego thinking, oh,
I could get power
we're the
like that, yeah.
Dons and I'm the power, and
Caciques.
so and you take you that, and then so then they're what is the word? Oh my god,
So where you look?
oppressing people, the indigenous people. Like there was a hierarchy. Like if you had to be pure-blooded Spaniard to be treated like royalty, and sometimes these people would even be incest just to keep their bloodline afloat, which is disgusting and crazy.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
But just
But
to
it's a
keep
thing,
that-
yeah.
So I mean, and it got so bad to when it got to a point after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which they screwed us over. They said, you guys will all be American. And so they sold that American identity. It was like they sold one identity, another identity, and flipped it. So they slipped and flipped the rug under us twice.
Exactly.
3 times.
Well, and that's the thing. It still happens today, right?
Yeah,
like
and
it's
it's
still
happening today.
It's like, okay, am I indigenous? Okay, am I Spanish? Am I mestizo? Am I both? Or now I'm not that. Now I'm American. Now, right?
So we
like
have
that's why
total identity
exactly.
issues.
And that's the biggest thing. I always invite people and just look into your history, look into your family roots. And if there's everything, and I'm not believing what you want, but if there's gonna be something you should believe in and really like look for, really find out who you are, because even us Mexicanos, our culture and our history leads us different paths, right? Like there's people that are almost 70% indigenous, right? And then there's other Mexicanos that are like 50% Spanish, and they're more Spaniard than indigenous. And then there's people that are 30 to 40% Black Mexican, right? Like there's that whole there's
And
Mexico,
people that are 100%, and they act
Exactly.
like they're white.
Exactly, right? And they show up here and they're just like, I don't identify.
It's such a
Especially right now, brother. Especially right now, like
on these times, as
and this
far
time,
as
this administration,
and
it's
discipline.
tough. It's just, I don't know. I think people really need to like tap back into their roots and really and be proud of that. Be proud of that. Even if you have media and a leader telling you otherwise, like remember who you are and who's there at the end of the day. The people that look like you and back you, which is your family. I mean, like what is tus abuelas, tus tías, like.
Go back
to them.
Go ask them.
Go sit with them.
History is continuing to repeat itself. Like we as Denver Foos, we could explain the same thing that's happening. Like for example, I'm just gonna get right into
Go into
the
it.
Venezuelans. Now the Mexicans are treating the Venezuelans like the Chicanos treated the
Brother.
Mexicans.
I had this
And
talk
it's
the other
like the
day.
same.
Exactly.
Their words are literally. I'm getting chills and I'm getting emotional. It's
Yeah.
it's the same thing that is
same pattern.
happening.
The same
It's
pattern.
the stuff I heard my aunts and
Well, 'cause
uncles
now
say
that we're
bad about
older-
Mexicans. The Mexicans are saying it about Venezuelans.
And now that we're older, we realize that's all wrong,
Bro, it's all
to be like that,
But
so it's like, and we used to be like that,
Brother,
too.
it's sad
You know,
because
but it's like-
it's embarrassing more
Right.
than anything, because I'm like I've had these even arguments with my own people, my own Mexicanos. I'm like, we complained about how they treated us, like Americans treated us for the longest. Now we're doing the exact same thing to our Venezuelan, Colombian brothers and sisters. Like if you know firsthand what that feels like, why would you do the same thing to them, right?
That's American.
And
culture,
exactly.
to treat people
And
the
that's-
way they treated you and like shit.
And I had a guest on here that coined it perfectly. He said it's this mentality of the established immigrant against the unestablished immigrant, right?
Right.
So once you get here and you get established and you buy a house and you buy a car, you could be Mexican, and then you're like, oh, well, I got it right now. I'm good. Now I'm living good. My family's good. And the unestablished immigrant shows up, right, with every right to do so, with that willingness and that wanting to just help their family and better their situation, the same way you did
Right.
15 years ago. And now it's like, nah, fuck them. Now, no, they're here to take my jobs.
Right.
We start using the same terms that Americans use with us, and it's the saddest thing. And I'm like, brother, this was us.
Right.
5-10 years ago, like not even that long ago, not even long ago. So like anyone that's coming to anywhere, right? I believe it's your right as a human being to go and be wherever you want, right?
Exactly.
People are just looking. We all want the same thing. We all want to eat. We all want to sleep and have a roof over our head and have a little bit of money in our pocket. We all want the same thing. We all want to love. We all want to do the same thing.
Right.
Like, it don't matter what you look like. There's more than enough for everyone. The same thing we were talking about earlier. Like, there's more than enough to go around. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, if he comes, now there's less of the pie for me. Nah. We, especially in this capitalist place, like, there's more than enough money. There's more than enough resources. There's more than enough views and clicks for everyone. Like, let's flip the narrative and let's start working together, because like, yes, that's how we're all gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like that mentality of like, ooh, she's gonna take my place and he's gonna take, it never works like that. It never works like that, and those people never last. But brothers, besides the point, right? Like, good points, good point. Especially we could talk about that all day. Tell me more about like you said, you guys obviously online, you guys have a huge social media presence, and people rock with you guys, especially people here from Colorado. I know you guys have other what surprised me, but what I found intriguing, that you guys have other avenues. You guys have a barbershop, you guys have other businesses. Cuéntenos poquito de eso, carnal. Like, I love that you guys are hustlers and you're really go-getters. Like, people see that side of it, but sometimes they don't get to see the other businesses. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of just goes in adaptation. We're
Yeah.
just adapting to our environments, just mastering that. We have an auto transport business, so we do have we do blue collar work.
There you go. I love that.
Trailers.
You're like, you see me on gold right now, but I like to get my hands dirty sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's bills that don't stop coming, so you gotta,
You gotta find your way,
come out.
brother.
I mean, and
So-
entertainment and media, and
Right.
it's all.
So you have the cars.
Right.
What else? The barbershop?
Barbershop.
We have a
Yeah.
barbershop
Yeah.
as well.
Where's the barbershop at?
The barbershop is in South Denver, 1400 South Denver.
Which is Federal and
South Federal.
South
Where's
Federal.
South Federal?
Federal and what?
Florida.
Florida?
Like
Yep.
Florida and Federal,
Florida and
Arkansas and Federal to be
Perfect.
exact.
Perfect.
But that barbershop means so much to me because the neighborhood is the neighborhood that my grandma is from.
That's where she
and
grew up.
my mom is from.
Nice.
So it's like a third generation, even like probably fourth generation community that
Love it.
belongs to my mom's side,
Love it.
because my mom's side, they used to live off of Evans. But there used to be a famous bar, not famous, but like hood famous
No,
bar
it is.
called the Evans Bar.
Uh-huh.
That's the house that my great grandparents lived in and my grandma lived in. And then there's even there's a park named after relatives of our family that
Nice.
were in that area. It's called La Lomita Park. They just named it about 10 years ago or
Really? They changed the name?
Yeah, they changed the name because
love it.
La Lomita, the little hill, is there was a store, like a little convenience store right on the corner that they
Called
had.
La Lomita, right?
Yeah,
It was called
this
yeah.
way back then.
That's over.
You know, there's so much Spanish roots, indigenous roots, all connected to Denver and Colorado. And so one of them, that's one of our deepest ones on that side. So that community, that's my mom's side of the family.
It's amazing.
South Denver is, it's like my pride and joy.
Yeah.
We spent so much time over there.
Yeah.
My brother went to Kennedy. I'm speaking for him.
Right.
Yeah.
He loves to tell a story.
You'll tell his story right now.
And we have so many memories. She lived off of 825 South Decatur, right by Houston Lake. right across from the Westwoods.
And I think-
so we're having the Westwoods, like,
Yeah.
see, it's like the Westwood projects, not the whole Westwood community.
Yeah.
Because the Westwood projects are like in the south side, and then Westwood touches
Morrison,
southwest. And man, so many memories, and especially that barber shop. Shout out to Angel's Beauty Salon.
Right.
Maria, she's owned it for over 25 plus years.
Wow.
I want to say almost 30 now.
Almost, yeah.
But
And
she's been a staple with just
In
like
the community.
in the
so
community.
for her to give us the opportunity to have our barbershop, it's there's 420 tacos. Shout out to 420 tacos.
Yep.
They're like one of the best ones everybody rants and raves about. And then it's a 3 business community. So it's just our people coming together and working together. And that community, like I said, it means so much to me. We even have my first earliest entrepreneur days. We were selling chains right there.
Yeah. What would you guys sell?
just
selling
chains, like little jewelry chains.
Yeah.
I used to get I found them like really cheap online.
Yeah.
Back in the day, called the
They didn't have the
hiphoplook.com.
alley like
I was
in
gonna
LA.
say, no te los callejones.
It was hiphoplook.com. They're only like, if you bought like in bulk, you could get. They were nice too. They were like, had weight to them and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't have
I
a
was getting them
Denver
for like
one. It was-
$5 a chain, but this was back when platinum was in, so they were
Right.
like silver,
Exactly.
like silver or platinum.
So you would get them and then you would flip them at the shop or
At
the,
the
the
shopping
shopping center.
right next
Yeah,
door.
next
It
to
used
it.
to be called Avanza.
Mm-hmm.
It's now Lowe's and Gen X.
Yeah.
But it was Avanza, and then across the street where it's like what, Denver General. Like
It's a Denver Health Health now, right?
that used to be Grocery Warehouse. So I used to go with my grandma to both of those stores.
Yeah.
So see, that's the culture.
Exactly.
Like we'd go to the Mexican Spanish store, and then we also went to the regular store
Yeah.
because there's certain items that you can't get at certain places.
Well, I'm work. There's a lot of food justice communities and organizations that do great work, but a lot of pushing healthy and clean food nowadays.
Right.
They also speak about pushing culturally relevant food. So that's always been a thing, right? We would go to we would go to Albertsons, Sam's, or freaking Safeway, whatever, right?
Right.
But you couldn't find like your products. You couldn't find the sazon. You couldn't find our culture food. So you would have to go to las carnicerias. You would have to go to these quote unquote Latino stores just to find like our products, our sodas, our rice, or whatever. So I think most people that grew up here understood that, right? Especially like if you would go to the grocery store with moms, she's like, oh, we're gonna go to same thing would be like the American stores, like your Safeway, King Supers. And back then you'd be like, well, I still have to go to Avanza or Mi Pueblo because they didn't have it.
Right.
We would have to make two stops just to be able to cook our plates at home, you know? So that's always been a thing.
Yeah, I know. And then even moving from here to LA or even Las Vegas, because the culture is different, the food is different,
brother.
So like what my mom, she would
man.
have somebody send her like enchilada powder, like chili
Well, she would
powder,
get it was already the powder already.
because they didn't have the kind
seasoning.
Yeah.
They didn't have the kind that we use here in Colorado
Exactly.
versus they use. So like, see how it's different, but we're all the same.
It's all the same. I just think the beauty of it is like everyone puts their own flair on it, right? Everywhere you go, like we all eat enchiladas. But even in Mexico, like how you make them in the north is different than how you make them in the south, right? And it's like it's not that like I said, be proud of what you are and rep where you're from, but also be willing to try new things, right? Because sometimes we're so set on our ways, and I noticed that with food, it's like people will be like, "Oh, these aren't real enchiladas." Da, da, da. We're like, "Well, that's not how you guys have them there, but this is how we make them here," and vice versa. So just be open to try new things, right? Because I've always heard this: if you like judge or if you just close yourself off to things, you're missing out on beautiful experiences, trying beautiful food, trying beautiful things. Sometimes because we're so set in our ways, being like, I'm from here and we only do it like this. You're closing yourself off to a whole world of foods, a whole world of experiences, a whole world of music.
Actually enjoying
Exactly.
If you stay like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not just our community, with other communities, with the Black community, with any community, Asian community, go in there and be like, what a privilege to try something different. What a privilege to be around different people, right? Because if not, you're just going to have the same food, the same music the rest of your life. And to me, I don't know.
I mean, even all that, you could even go as far as that. Like, I seen something like even our food ends up being the same. Like we all eat rice, we all have beans, we all have all these things, but it's the way we put our spices and put our things. I mean, even so, there's like some meme. It said like Italian food is non-spicy Mexican food because they eat like
It's a lot of similar
the
ingredients.
same thing. Like,
Well, there's even well, like my dad, or like they call, like even with the rice, like a lot of us here call it Spanish rice.
because it's like I think
But
there is like a
there
different
is like a
preparation.
difference. What I've noticed is like the way we make it.
Yeah.
The way we make it, we put like even more like tomato sauce in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I've seen like how others are made, and I feel like ours is more like
More like
It's
red, more
Right, it's a lot
tomato.
more red and
Sometimes it even
tomato.
has a little chile in it, little
Right,
jalapeno in
right,
it. Like, yeah, it's different. Like us, the way Mexicanos make it. Like again, and it depends on where. Certain states make it one way, other states make it the other way. You know, you think about like our Venezuelan, Colombian, Caribbean homies. They do it completely different,
Right,
and it's still that red color. It's just it tastes
right,
completely different. So
and they're all delicious.
all delicious.
I mean,
right?
you know,
They're all delicious.
That's the point.
I just think for us, a lot of it is just like we want everything to be spicy. And remember, not all of our food has to be spicy. It's good. That's what we want. We're trained since we're little just to have spicy food, but be open to try that Colombian rice. Be open to try that Venezolano rice. Try that Puerto Rican rice, because trust me, it is just Dominican rice just as good. And it doesn't have to be spicy, right? And it's just unlearning a lot of stuff. I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, we learn a lot of stuff, but we also have to learn to unlearn a lot of things we're taught. Because a lot of the stuff comes from struggle. It comes from pain. Like, it's okay to be like, all right, cool. I'm not me from 20 years ago, not even 10 years ago. Okay, I have different gustos. I like different things now. I can go try different stuff, you know. Unwiring yourself.
I eat onions now. I didn't eat.
There you go, man. There you go. There you go.
Well, we all become adults.
There you go. Brother, so on top of that, so let's go back to the social media thing, because I think that's where most people have tapped in with you guys, or they come across your page or the saying. What started that? You said it started with like a meme page. Like,
Well,
where did that come from, or
it
where'd you get the idea from?
I got the idea from
Just wanted to see something more based around your town.
based around. Okay, so like I said, our experience we have a diverse experience from living in Las Vegas, living in Los Angeles, and it opened up my eyes. It made me appreciate Denver more.
Right.
So when I would go to Las Vegas, because like you said, you cling on to what you are, what you are, what you are.
Like, I'm here.
I wasn't, not to say I wasn't proud to be from Denver. I feel like there was always an identity issue. Like it goes as deep as we were talking earlier. There's an identity issue. So especially being from Denver, Denver's really not on the map. So it's not, it was not like a cool thing to be from Denver ever.
Right.
Or even the people themselves sometimes are like, oh, we're Denver, we're sorry.
Oh, yeah,
We're not
like,
LA,
so many times we're
New
New yeah.
York, and
They
it's
would
small.
literally say
They
we're
would compare
sorry.
themselves to the bigger markets.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Bigger cities.
so
Right.
living in these different cities, it made me prouder to be a Broncos fan, to be a Rockies fan, and just the passion of that of our community.
It also allowed to see like even the differences between like Foos from LA, Foos from Vegas, Foos
New
from
Mexico. Yeah.
And we've always said too, like, because Denver Foos, we love to go to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah,
We love to go party, gamble, all that. And we've always been like even when we lived there, we're like, you could just recognize when somebody, like, when there's some Denver Foos.
Yeah.
Like,
Same thing with me.
Yeah.
Like someone from LA, he's from LA, and I'll know right away, and we'll just talk. It's just natural. We're like, you just gravitate to them. Yeah.
That same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we noticed that, and then they started having, or wait, I'm sorry, am I fast forwarding?
No.
Okay.
So they start. So we've always had
The identity thing.
identity thing, especially being in entertainment and in music.
Yeah.
It's just like that was the question. Everybody was like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" And we're like,
they
"Oh,
never
from
knew.
Denver."
Yeah.
They're like, "What?"
What's there? People would think the mountains and skiing. That's it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we got a lot of that, and just kind of that always coming up as far as people being shocked that we're from Denver, but knowing in the back of our minds that there's a whole community that looks like us.
Exactly.
There's people out here.
Exactly.
I mean, there's just so much cool stuff. And then just also noticing the different things. St. Patty's Day just passed. it's not really a big thing in LA. It's not really a big thing in Vegas or Arizona. It's
Huge here.
It's huge here, and it's huge within our gente culture because of Catholicism and like so it all kind of just meshes, and then the downtown and the parade and everything. So it was things like that, or even Cinco de Mayo. We have a huge Cinco de Mayo celebration here in Denver. It's probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And they don't do that in LA. In LA, everyone has their own little things in their little sections
in those cities, yeah.
because of so many things.
Right. Oh, there's things.
And then in Las Vegas, they were, because Cinco de Mayo is more of a Chicano holiday.
It is.
And then Patrias is Mexican.
The 16th of September, like the for the longest, there would be a huge 16th Mexican Independence Day celebration at Civic Center Park. And that celebration would pull right around 100,000 people every year. And I'm sure you guys have been to it. It was the 16th downtown Denver. And that was actually the largest single day Mexican Independence Day celebration in the U.S. And you would think, right? You were like, oh, LA probably has it. Chicago probably has it. Texas.
Yeah.
It was actually Denver that had it.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things that like.
There's a lot of things that we're pointing out to saying, hey, Denver, like we are cool. Like,
absolutely.
We have so much culture within itself, and identifying that, seeing the differences, having those clashes, like you don't speak Spanish. But never like taking offense, just realizing that we're different. And we're all the same too, but then we're also different. We have our differences, and it kind of just made me cling on to it more, like especially the teams, of course. You know, sports, it's just like always a thing like that.
Really proud.
But then when you
when
you go back deeper with your ethnicity and your nationality, and then it's like, well, we're all like the same. So that opened up our eyes to that. We're all the same,
right?
But then we're also
we're very unique.
So that's what kind of create. I'm like, Denver never gets no shine. And then around 2017, 2018, was it like Foos Gone Wild? I see that page on Instagram.
Our first was Come Outside.
But there was another page. There was like it's like the Foo Revolution. So there was so I remember Come Outside Foo was like before Foos Gone Wild that had the most traction. It was called Come Outside Foo, but they kept getting deleted.
Was it like all fighting and stuff for the most part?
It was crazy.
It was
wild.
I vaguely remember, but
mostly Cholos, LA Foos, and one particular radio personality that kept referencing it was from Shade 45. What was his name? Root Jude. Root Jude, because I guess he was in LA at the time, and he would talk about it, and we would hear about it, and then we would go look at it, and then all the other food pages kind of started coming
making
around.
Their own foods.
Then we seen Foos Gone Wild, the way he branded it and created a whole thing. And I mean, I come from entertainment and branding. I seen right through it. I'm like, that's Ty. Like, this guy totally capitalized it.
Exactly.
But the one thing that I thought was missing was Denver Foos. Like, it was no representation of even Texas or Arizona or Las Vegas. It was all just
100% LA.
Southern California, even Southern California.
Southern California.
That is a whole nother conversation we could talk about.
It's completely different. It's like if you're from California, you know, northern and southern completely different. And even central is more northern than anything.
Resto, all that is different.
But it was basically like LA based
and San Diego.
And San Diego. Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, we're here in this day and age of representation and trying to find best representation, and it even gets down to Denver Mexican representation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Denver Chicano, it's all different. Yeah.
So I wanted to see more of that, and I happened to be living here currently at the time, and
so you just picked up a camera and you're like, let's go. I pick up my phone
it had a lot to do with how much the city of Denver had changed since we lived here. We moved back here in 2016. We left in 2002. So the city had taken a whole. I had spent about 6 months in 2010 to 2011, and even then it was different, and it's way different. It was in 2010, 2011. It was sad out here. It felt like Detroit. Like it was sad, slow, nothing going on.
No concerts.
3 or 4 years later, as weed became legal, and then you had the rush, the green rush. Then you have everybody just and
Businesses.
everybody finding out 300 days of sunshine.
The mountain.
The mountains.
An hour away, like you're
hour
up
away,
close.
You got all the
You got all
sports.
all
top
four seasons,
sports
all
team.
four sports.
Them Laker Dodger fans are
Yep.
seeing their team up close for cheap, and they ain't
Right,
gonna worry about
exactly.
how good it is over there and
Exactly,
Staples or
Mhm.
over at Chavez Ravine and parking. Everything's so much more affordable.
It is.
So you
Was.
have
It was.
we're getting there.
Right?
We have
We're close.
convenience.
Uh-huh.
Convenience for and
right.
and just beautiful
Centralized.
cities,
Center
centralized
of the map.
Convenient as the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of drive, but
Yeah.
Hey, that's not too
But-
bad.
So
But
oh shit, I lost it.
Sorry.
What was I saying? So then I was sitting. Okay, so seeing how much the city
City
had
was growing,
changed, and
2016.
remembering things like I said, like my grandma living in South Denver, even South Denver changing. It's crazy how the parallels of the conversation 'cause
Gentrification, everything.
because that neighborhood, South Denver, was all predominantly white. Then it was predominantly Chicano. Then it went predominantly Mexican, and now it's kind of going Venezuelan. There's a lot of Venezuelans in South Central.
Yep.
So just seeing the
No.
history repeat itself over and over again, and just the change, and just remembering Denver when from my childhood, or hearing about my parents' childhood and certain things,
How it is now.
and I just kind of just started dabbling into just posting familiar faces, familiar Denver foods. But
What would
not
you post?
necessarily-
Like at the beginning stages of the page, what was, I mean, what was the content?
So the content was a mix of, so exactly what it was, Denver Foos. So I would post John Elway. I would post Blinky the Clown. I'd post Frank Azar. So not necessarily people with a Hispanic background.
But
because-
stuff that was like very Denver,
Yeah, very
Rocky Mountain
Denver,
Auto
and it's
Sales
like, if
type
you-
thing.
Well, only Denver Foos would know this.
Jake, what's his name from American?
Jake Jab,
Jake Jab.
that kind of
Stuff that
stuff.
you're like, oh yeah.
That wasn't really on the TV anymore. And all these characters, all these people.
we were even developing it too. We're like, like even they're Denver Foos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
It's not
everybody-
necessarily you got to be from the
No,
Hispanic
it doesn't.
community.
But that's very much stuff that like places we shopped at, places we would go to.
Stuff
But
like
it's just
that.
like if you're from
Then it
Denver,
started-
you know.
Yeah, then, so then
What?
it kind of took a weird turn because being from LA, living in LA, and enjoying In and Out, which
Yeah.
that's a whole debate in itself.
Right.
We went to the opening of In and Out
Here.
at in Aurora, by
In
the
Aurora.
Aurora Mall.
Yep, next to the mall.
We were in that line for about an hour. All was crazy.
Yeah, we had that freedom because we have the
But we have
transport
the transport business.
Ah, right.
So we're
Freedom
like,
to do that.
Yeah.
let's go over there.
Yeah.
So just to be able to eat In and Out on Denver soil was just like,
Thing.
let's go do it. We
Yeah.
got to go do it. So we're waiting in this line. Sure enough, it gets kind of crazy. These people are right on Alameda trying to park their cars, or no, trying to turn into the mall to park.
They're trying to just merge over to the YMA.
Oh,
It's just chaos and
Bad.
fights.
people, these guys kind of get out, and then I don't know, for some reason I never did this. I never record
record this.
anything
Yeah.
after this. This
Yeah.
is the only time I recorded it
Yeah.
A
because
fight.
we were
Yeah.
just there bored.
You were
bored
waiting
out
in the
of our
line
minds.
for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
This is the first and the last time I've ever recorded anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy now that I think about it.
But
And it was just a gentleman and another guy. They were kind of getting into it, just arguing. The kid in the back seat kind of like did some gesture to the guy, and then the guy just kind of like pushed him back, like in there.
Oh, yeah.
You don't push people's children.
Absolutely. Not.
So after that, it was over, but it just turned into a funny fight because
Oh yeah, yeah.
People don't know
Like
how
the
to
dad
fight,
got
so-
out of the car, went
Yeah.
after him.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, he gets scared. He
Yeah.
jumps up and like,
And
what?
he
He
was-
like
he
his
was-
pants come off
Yeah,
somehow.
because he was-
I don't know. He was wearing like sweat.
I'm gonna have to send me this video.
Yeah.
You guys still have it on your page? You
Yes,
checking it out?
yes.
All right,
Yeah.
scroll all the way down.
No,
Let's
no.
Well,
we-
we don't even know.
Did you
Our
remove
page
it?
got deleted
They got
and then-
deleted. Okay.
We still
that-
have.
I
We
guess-
got it though.
Is
So
that
that
what
was-
made you guys kind of go viral, or
It
kind of picked up
kind of went
right before it was viral?
That was kind of
we
the
went
first
from
time.
Big video.
about
Yeah.
100 followers with just posting just random stuff.
Random
a
memes.
faceless account. I
Right.
didn't want, because I'm so dedicated to my music at this time, and I'm like, I don't want to I don't want to mix brands.
Yeah.
I'm pursuing a
Music,
music career.
and this is just
and
a
then
side
this
thing.
is just some side thing. And I mean, I know the culture. I'm from here. it was just hitting, and we got about almost 200 followers. But then that video shot it up to 1,000 overnight because the news got it, and then they were like, I posted it on Facebook. I didn't even post it to the page. That wasn't even the intention of the page from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
I posted it on my Facebook. I get 3 or 4 news people. Hey, can we use your video?
Yeah.
I should have charged them money, but I didn't know at the time.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, yeah. And they're like, well, we're going to use your name for credit. I'm like, no, I don't want you to know that it was me. Like, because, I'm like, put Denver Foos. So I put that. I'm like,
Because that was already the page, though.
yeah,
Okay.
but the page didn't have
I didn't have a following, but you wanted it to
that's
be
not the
that,
intention
yeah.
of the. That's never been the
Right.
intention of the. It just the stars aligned, and I said, hey, this is a way I could get an impulse of people to go follow Denver Foos.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of it for myself because I'm thinking the nostalgia of Denver,
Yeah.
of the city.
Your attention was something else, just showing off Denver, not the negativity.
Not
But
the
but there was an opportunity in this quote unquote negative moment. So you're like, hey, use it.
Yes, yes.
And
So
then
I
they run
sure
it.
Did. Then we get about 1,000. Then I'm posting more stuff. People are found out about it. You
Yeah.
have to get attention for
course.
people to show.
course.
Coca-Cola, all these people, they
Yeah.
advertise. They pay big
Yeah.
money to stay relevant.
Right.
So I kept posting. Sure enough, here comes more of the fight videos, more of
Right. People start sending stuff.
Oh, they started DMing you guys. Right.
I didn't even ask for
Right,
it.
yeah.
I did not even
But it was
ask
stuff
for it.
that was happening throughout the city, and you're like, it's
Yeah.
happening in our city. Let's share it.
And then a lot of people in the culture caught on to Denver Foos.
Right.
So any type of
Or they
thing
connected to it.
connected to it.
Right.
And
Because we just had what it just said, like in the subject line, that we're just like, oh, Foos from Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People were like, oh,
People are like, oh, I'm a fool from Denver. All right, cool. Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah.
They can
People could
identify
relate
with
to
that.
it.
I mean, our first, we didn't even have a logo. It was Nikola Jokic as Ice Cube.
I think I remember, yeah. Before you guys got this one that you're wearing out, it was just the bandana.
Yeah. So it just started taking a life of its own, and it was a mix of everything. Where I'm touching the culture, I'm touching what's happening in the moment. People are
streets.
sending me videos in the streets. Maybe a car accident, maybe this, maybe that.
Bike stuff.
Bike stuff,
Yeah.
just so
Always.
many
And we
things.
would put it up
It just
quick.
started just
And I mean, we even like helped people find their cars or like
Or
stolen
lost
cars.
cars.
They're like,
Yeah.
stuff like
created
that.
this network.
It was a network
And
page for
community.
Denver. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
So
kind of turned into to that.
So
that-
story.
but
one point.
at one point, you know, who can plan for something? Like our plan or intention was
Completely different.
not to be like, oh, we're gonna post fight videos
Yeah.
go viral. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, even today we don't post videos to like go viral. Like
Yeah.
we're just covering the city and stuff.
The pulse.
They got to a certain point to where I didn't know if people were taking it as a cultural appreciation or cultural appropriation, like
yeah.
people can take with Foos Gone Wild at
Exactly.
times.
Right.
You guys
We
make
started
fun of-
seeing a lot of
I've seen a lot of.
I feel like
racist
yeah.
undertones,
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah, speak on that, because that's one thing I noticed too. Like when I first saw the page, I was like, "This is cool," but then unfortunately, it did kind of paint like the city or his Mexican, Hispanic, Chicano, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
in a certain light, right?
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, damn! Like it's cool because it's funny. Like for us, right? Like for us, we get it. It is what it is.
Right.
But I feel like other
outside-
people from other cultures, they're like, "Oh, this is what you guys are," right?
Yeah,
So speak on that. Like, what did you guys see? What did you get? What's
that
the
was
feedback
exactly.
you guys
It
got?
was just weird comments, just
Same,
saying.
we've seen the same exact thing as
Yeah.
you, basically.
So we
Yeah.
started seeing it.
Wait a minute, are they? Seems like they're laughing at us,
No,
not with us.
Exactly.
This was
So-
supposed to be funny,
Right.
Yeah.
So how could we control the narrative? How could we,
Change
what could we do?
Yeah. So what? How did you guys go from just because I saw the shift right away from what you guys were posting to the businesses you guys were showing off. What sparked kind of that? Was it that like, hey, we want to make sure that we're showing us off and we're not painted negatively, or what changed for you guys? What made you kind of be more conscious of what you posted?
I mean, like I said, from the beginning, it's always been a proud, prideful thing for the city. It was never intended to make the city look bad, or especially our people look bad, make black and brown people look bad.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, Foos, it's touching base on the urban culture in the city. And, you know, I mean, like, sometimes people from our backgrounds kind of thrive off of negativity.
Unfortunately,
But it started becoming more of a phenomenon where you had people outside of our community watching it. So it just, you got to that Dave Chappelle moment of like, are they laughing with us or are they laughing at us? And I'm like, our culture is beautiful.
Exactly.
If it's getting taken out of context in any way, we need to change course, and we can't continue to post these fight videos or post these crazy drunk people. I mean, we've gotten some crazy. I've gotten like stuff where I had to send to the cops because snitch. No. I mean, it's like incidents that happen that people knew about, like certain shootings in clubs and certain things, and very, very graphic stuff that I would never share to anybody because this is somebody that maybe
when that person got
seized.
when the lady got shot and killed at was it, I don't know if it wasn't Sky Lounge at the time, but
Downtown
ticket
during
front of,
New Year's.
somebody sent us a video,
in
and it was
there,
like them trying to revive. Oh, it was so sad.
it was.
Why
But-
did you say that?
I'm just whatever.
but
it's the
that's
truth.
a reality.
We're like we're
need to
not
share that. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We're not
like
doing
that's
that.
somebody's relative, daughter, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So no, we never did that. We never wanted to. Also, we never wanted to post anybody that was like down and out. Like there's other pages that like they like to put bums,
Like
and
the
all this, and-
or you know, people that are struggling with addiction type of stuff.
yeah, we're not
or
about
just
that.
struggling.
No, we've
in
never been
general.
about that.
Exactly.
I mean, if we would filter out what would we post, it would be like Denver Foos. Denver, it sounds comedic, so we wanted to keep it. If it was like a funny fight, so the first fight was comedic. The guy's pants
pants
come
fell
down.
off. Oh my God,
He got knocked out.
We gotta send it to you.
Swinging.
Yeah, we still have when we have it.
Yeah.
So the focus was like, if it's a fight and it's just like two foos that just don't know how to
no one
fight,
dies and no one has a serious interview. We
we're
vibe.
looking for graphic and brutal.
Well, you know, some people love those like knockout ones and stuff.
Bro, I still, I'm guilty of it sometimes. Also, I watch them too. You know what I mean? Like I was just like that brain rot stuff. Like I'm like, all right, why am I watching this?
We
right?
all
But
do.
we all do. I think, like what I love that you guys kind of shifted on is just like, okay, cool. Let's still keep it lighthearted and it's happening, right? We can't ignore, especially I feel like we have a responsibility to yes, portray ourselves in a good light and uphold ourselves to high standards. But it's also being honest, right? Like I'm like, hey, it's not my fault that I'm sharing this information. This is stuff that's out here. This is the reality.
Right.
I'm not the bad guy for sharing this information. This is the truth, right? Like we can't paint things like everything's freaking sunshine and butterflies because it's not. Like this is the reality of it. And we're not the bad guys for sharing it. But I do love that you guys made that conscious decision to be like, okay, we have some type of pull or influence over the community. How do we now shift it in a way where it's positive?
I know when it was. It was when the other dude had the microphone, and it was the first couple of times that you did the microphone.
Where someone snatched the phone from you?
No. So the microphone got even introduced because, like I said, my intention was never to come out in front, or our intention. I mean, it could be easily thought because we're in the entertainment business already with music that we wanted to use this platform to blow us up, but it was never the intention. It was until shout out to Poverty Productions. It was another guy that was in the bike scene.
Yeah,
and
they're quads and
he had reached out because he had people on like the microphone. He said, maybe we should collab, come downtown.
I remember those.
And it was just like, okay, yeah.
That's when you guys were doing street interviews, like specifically at night. Most of them were like Friday night, Saturday night type of.
So
stuff.
that's how it even got introduced. So it made me think. I thought, I mean, there had already been like a dozen guys, a guy in Austin, a guy in Vegas, a guy in everywhere in every city doing
Similar,
that. And I'm like, well, I'm not like trying to. So I think his intention was to try to go viral, try to create a Hawk Tuah moment. This was even before the Hawk Tuah. Like just trying to create a viral moment. And I didn't really like
the moment
that.
you try to go viral is when you mess up.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you still don't worry about that.
Right.
You just got to do what you know. But
so with me having an MC background, being able to grab a mic and just go,
something that was natural to
you. It was natural to me to just kind of hop in front of the camera and interview people. And you know, we
at first it was goofy and funny and like I mean we are anyway.
Yeah.
But
so I wanted to step it up a little bit more, and I said, you know what? Instead of going downtown to where everyone's all crazy and drunk, But how about we go? Let's go to the tailgate.
Right.
Let's go to the
Let's go to the
gate.
things that
Let's
we
go
go
to
to
the things
anyway.
that
Anyways,
Denver
right.
Foos are already just
already
going
doing,
to.
yeah.
Everywhere we go, I'll be at, just even if I didn't have the camera or the
Right,
microphone.
right.
These are just places that our people here in Colorado and in Denver just frequent anyways. So we took it a step above. So with that guy, we went to a tailgate.
Broncos.
And-
Or a Broncos tailgate.
And it was our tailgate, our family tailgate that we've been tailgating there for over 20 years. And hey, I had a couple drinks. I'm a little lit. My face is like red or orange in the first video. But I didn't take it as serious. I didn't think what could possibly happen.
It was just like, you were going to do it either way. And then it's like, all right, let me just record it now.
Yeah, so just doing it. I was talking kind of crazy sometimes, and
Yeah.
it was funny. The way he edited it
It's
kind
still
of more
funny.
like a Channel 5 news. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where they kind of just make
Genius, yeah.
people crazy, and it was funny. I still love that video today, and that was where I was like, Denver Foos, we already fucking won, bud. Like,
Yeah.
it's just me just adding to the culture of what our culture is, of how people speak, of how passionate, and just showing through. And I think that's what he captured in that video. And then a lot of people picked up on that video and thought it was great, and they were like, come over here, you should come
Started
over
inviting
here.
you guys places.
Started inviting us to places. One thing in just entertainment or even in life, dependable people.
Right.
I don't want to trash this guy, but he had another job. It was just hard,
hard
for
to
us to.
So collaborate.
So I ended up just buying my own microphone. It was just hard to collaborate, be on the same schedule.
Right.
And the way we move, as you could see, we're everywhere. We're fast. Hey, if
We've
someone
always been like
We've
this.
always
though.
been like
even before everything.
Yeah. You guys are always like, I got to be here, I got to be here, I got to be
Yeah,
here.
or like
Yeah,
we
or
just
just
always like to enjoy events. We done
Right.
everything. We've always done that. Like our
Right.
parents, they would take us to everything.
Yeah.
We weren't sheltered at all. You know, like
Oh, yeah, they exposed us to a lot of things.
You guys were, like I said, you guys were already kind of doing that stuff. It was just,
Yeah.
now you were capturing it and sharing it.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
like we're the type that will go to a Bronco game and then go to a concert after. We've always been like that.
Yeah.
Back to back things.
Yeah, like we went to the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl. We went to the very first game. We tailgated.
Right.
That's like one event in itself. Then we went to the game,
Yeah.
and then after the game, we went to go to the Chris Brown concert at
Yeah.
Fetty
Oh,
Wap.
it was an amazing.
Like,
It was an
That's
amazing
amazing.
day.
That's a day.
That was amazing.
Sounds like a busy and a heavy drinking day.
yeah. But yeah, so it just kind of was like that. And I said, well, this is kind of cool. No one else is really going to events. They're just
Especially out
downtown
here.
trying to catch viral moments. And let's capture the vibe and the culture of the people. Because during 2020, during all the protests, during all the political things, creating so much divide online, because everybody could just be on their computer, mostly their phone now, and just say whatever they sometimes not even think about what they're saying.
Yeah.
Be very insensitive.
Exactly.
But sometimes when you have a microphone and you're in front of people are not going to say what they're saying on the internet.
They're not.
So, living the life that we've lived, just going to different places, being in diverse environments, we know that at the end of the day, there's good and bad people.
There's
In every
community,
Every community.
every race, every industry, every whatever.
You can tell
walk of
people's
life.
intentions are pure, and other ones like, there's like
Exactly.
alternative
Oh man.
motives.
So we wanted to show just positive, fun stuff of Denver. We wanted to give that window of the people at these events, how people are acting, the diversity. We've interviewed a very diverse thing for a food page, quote unquote, where mostly food pages are in the Hispanic community.
Exactly.
No, because I'm not we don't want to box in Hispanic people or
Exactly.
Spanish or Mexicans. Even those terms, the identity issues.
It's a thing, but and I always tell people that I'm like, all right, are we? Because I'm before anything, I think indigenous before anything, but
Yes.
sometimes even here it's like, all right, do I present it as like Latino or Hispanic? Like,
Histórico mexicano, you're
depends
talking
on who you're
to.
talking to, right?
Depends on who you're talking to. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm talking, certain people I say I'm Hispanic. Certain people I say I'm Chicano. Certain people say I'm indigenous. I'm not gonna tell you which people.
Sometimes,
It
Yeah,
if you
is.
don't,
exactly.
sometimes if you don't want to go into a deep conversation, you just say, "Oh yeah, I'm Mexican."
Yeah, because
You know, that's like just more accepting, I guess.
exactly.
Or just quicker. Yeah,
and
it's quicker.
it does range sometimes. I'll tell all types of people all those different answers.
Yeah.
It just
Right.
depends
Yeah,
on the
Like,
mood I'm in.
Because sometimes people ask, like, so what are you? I'm like, well, I'm a human being, first of all.
Yeah.
So I want you to address me with the same respect you would to any person.
Right.
But we're so many things.
Right.
Just what we're talking about. We're this, we're that. We speak different languages. So sometimes you have to code switch, and sometimes we have to, and it's unfortunate, but our people have had to do that for the longest as a survival, right? Even when you're like would be on the phone or you're looking for a job, most anyone that's Mexicano or Latino or whatever you identify as, sometimes you would have to change your voice to sound more white, just to be like, oh, so I could get respected, or so they could take me seriously, or so they could help me. Because we noticed that, right? Sometimes when you would talk the way we talk, they wouldn't take us seriously, or they'd be like, oh, hey, it's not important. So you'd be like, oh, well, let me use my white voice now, right? Like, let me use my white voice.
Right.
But we had to do that just to get an even playing field, or to get the jobs, or to do that. So I think that we still do that subconsciously, because we'll notice that when we walk into spaces, we're like, if I show up as my authentic self, sometimes I don't get the respect, so sometimes I have to code switch.
Right.
Now I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna show up as me, and you're gonna respect me, whether you're gonna respect me or not, right? I'm not gonna code switch. I'm not gonna change how I say my name, like how I pronounce my name. Like, this is me, and accept it. If you like it, great. And I think the beauty of it now, for us, it's Mexicanos specifically. We're like at our prime, right? Like, it's been the coolest ever to be Mexicano.
In America,
exactly, in America. Like,
sure.
before, I would get made fun of for the way I spoke, or my name, or X, Y, and Z. Now it's like a plus, right? It's like everywhere.
Yeah, we're living in a time where culture sells. And
Exactly.
People are very interested in everyone's
Exactly.
backgrounds and
Exactly.
cultures, and where you could be proud to show it.
Exactly.
So, that was basically what I was trying to accomplish with Denver Foos, is show off our culture, show off the Denver culture, but include everybody
Exactly.
with so much inclusion. Like, you don't have to be from the Hispanic community to be a
Exactly.
Denver Foo.
Exactly.
You
You can be
it's just-
white, black, like different, girl, female, male, whatever you identify as.
Another thing too, not to, I hope it doesn't come off as like a diss to other Hispanic, Mexican, Chicano platforms, but I think sometimes they make themselves with their identity so much that it pushes other people away. So they think, oh, I can't connect to it because I'm
not
white
for me.
or I'm
Well,
black, and it's
exactly.
not for me.
Exactly.
But Denver Foos is for everybody, because Denver Foos are Hispanic people, Mexicans, Chicanos, Indigenous. We enjoy everything. We enjoy black music. We enjoy white music. White, like, you know what I mean? All the cultures, like,
Exactly.
especially living in America and being an American, we have the diversity, the choice diversity, and so we're into a lot of different things. So sometimes those platforms of the Hispanic community, when they're just so like, concha, and just like certain things when it's like so Hispanic, that probably comes off racist or something.
No, but it's the truth.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
And it's just a tip. It's a good tip.
it's a disconnect even with the Latin community, with their own community. You're having a disconnect. You don't even realize that there's so many different
layers
types of layers.
Hispanics are, everything.
To us, it's like, as proud as I am Mexicano, I love and respect all of them. So if you're Guatemalteco, Salvadorian, Dominican, Colombian, Venezolano, whatever you are, I think that's why you can't box yourself in, and you have to collaborate, and you have to work with other people, because at the end of the day, our struggles are so similar. The more you talk to even our black brothers and sisters, or us as natives, us as Mexicanos, whatever, like, the more you speak to people, especially, and I hate the term, but minorities, because I don't feel like a minority. I don't think none of us are minorities. Exactly. But you'll notice that our struggles between different cultures are so similar. We're so much more similar. So I know I can relate a lot more with my upbringings to my black community than I could ever to other communities, right? Or native communities, right? So I think that speaks to that as just a tip for other platforms and other things. Like, yes, again, when we talk about, be proud of where you're from, show up of where you're from, but also be open and really have these conversations that unite us as people of color, as whatever, because we share a lot of common. So don't box yourself into this, oh, I'm only from Denver and I'm only this. Like, no, we're larger than that. Think on a larger scale on how we can really help each other out, brother. But carnal, that I just wanted to show you guys off. That's our whole platform, is just showing off.
Thank you.
Brown people of color.
Yeah.
Even though it is Spanglish, even though it's Spanish and English, it is just showing off people of color in general, right? Showing off that we come from a lot of the same neighborhoods, we come from a lot of the same backgrounds, and we're doing incredible things, right? We're the whole point is to show each other off and being like, brothers from this section are doing this side, we're doing this on this side, and let's really push the culture, because we are the culture. Like, they shouldn't take people from other cultures to come show us off and be like, look at their food, look at how they dress, look how, like, nah, let's do that. We got to do that. Who better can do that than us? Like, because we don't have to fake it. We don't have to. We don't need to hire people to talk and speak for. We can speak for ourselves. Our voices are just as powerful, and we hold so much value and power in our dollars and how we share information, how we dress. So, again, it's really just to show you guys off. I know you're always in front of the camera, carnal, but your brother too. Like, show off that it's a team effort, it's a family effort. It's you guys have been doing this, and just congratulations, carnal. Let's keep pushing. What you got, only what you guys can do, right? Because you guys are the Denver Foos, right? We're from different sections or whatever, but only you guys can give that very unique Denver perspective that so many people clearly relate to, right?
Yeah, we're definitely connect. I mean, just yesterday we were at Curtis Park, and I mean, you know, it's a black and brown community, and it was perfect because there was a customer. Shout out to Nacho, I think. He's a black guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Named Nacho. But you know, you grow up with
he explained it perfectly of how green chili, and it's all a part of our culture. I mean, I gave him the microphone because we were over in his hood, and it's like, go ahead.
Like, here,
and that's
this is the voice. We give a voice to the voice.
You're the voice.
Here you go.
Like,
you know,
we can't tell the stories for you. You tell. We're just gonna give you the space. You say it.
So we let him just do his thing, and I mean, we won't do that every time.
Just kidding. Can't always give you the mic.
No, you know what I mean. You got to control the mic, and but you know, I'm open to having more people get on the mic, go interview, tell their story. I mean, it's not, I don't even introduce my name every video. All it is what's up, Denver Foos, because the topic of the video is where I'm at. The topic is not me. I never introduce myself. I've probably done it maybe like once or twice, because one of the interviewees were like, you need to introduce yourself.
Well, I know.
And I'm like, well, there's a reason why. If you want me to do it like that, I'll do it like that. But you know, it's the whole point is just to give a voice to the voiceless, and it don't really necessarily matter if you're what background you come from. You're white, black, Asian. It's for everyone. Denver Foos is for everybody. We're inclusive with everybody. It don't matter what political party you're from. You know, none of this matters. Like,
I think just capturing the times. At the end of the day, journalism is just that. Like, we're just recording and sharing and expressing what's happening now, right? It's kind of like encapsulated in history, but you got to give people an opportunity to say, because most outlets won't, right? Like, whatever you're watching or wherever you consume your information from, that's a whole nother thing. But I think that this type of, because it is journalism, a lot of people won't look at it that way, but the fact that you guys are out there capturing 2025 Denver, that's journalism, right? They're going to be able to look back and be like, okay, this is what Denver really was like, right? And sometimes we don't think of it as that, but this is what Denver was like 2025. And then if you scroll back, this is what it was like in 2023, and it was different. 2018, it was different. And I think that the best way for people to really understand and really get true information and true feel for what the city is, we have to do that. We have to go ask the paletero. We have to go ask the guy in the food truck. We have to go ask the homies on the street, on the block, like, yo, what's the pulse of the street? What's it like? Nah, well, things are fucked up right now because this is happening right now. Like, we have to continue to do that because, again, we have a responsibility to share our stories, how we share them. Not how they're a big company, not how they want to sway it. Like,
narrative and all that. Yeah, we control the
narrative.
We control the narrative. Somebody has told us. Shout out to Charles. He said, "You guys control the narrative."
Exactly,
and that's why people love not just us, but just like us as
Platform,
people.
exactly.
We're
We're honest. We're honest, bro. A lot of our people will not sugarcoat stuff, and that's what I love. People will be like, "Oh, can I, brother? Say it how you feel it,
Right.
sisters. Say it how you really feel." Like, it's not about watering down the information. It's about giving it, bro. This is how it is. It ain't my fault. Like, you may have a problem with how I said it, but this is the truth. And if you don't like the truth, then really get to the root cause of it and ask people why they're upset, why they feel depressed, why they feel X, Y, and Z. But
Definitely.
don't hate us for being the
I mean,
messengers, you know?
I don't want to go down this aisle, but when you have people that are running the country that just say whatever is on their mind,
Exactly.
this is the world we live in now.
Exactly.
This is the world we live in.
Exactly.
So if people want to come on Denver Foos and say this or send us a video and people get offended, I mean, this is the real world.
That's the reality. That's what I'm saying. You can't knock someone for sharing something that's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What did Pac say? I want to be a real model, not a role model. Like this is reality. This is what's happening right now in our community specifically, in our neighborhoods, in the South Side, in the West Side, in the East Side, wherever you're at. This is what's happening in our community because 9 times out of 10. Big media won't show what's happening in Westwood, in South Denver.
Right.
Like they'll focus on certain parts, and usually when they do cover our cities and our neighborhoods, it's usually something negative.
Definitely.
It was like, oh, death
It's
or a
always-
robbery or there's a problem with them. We all know that's not true. We all
Yeah.
know our Venezuelan brothers are not gangs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many hardworking Venezolanos, Colombianos that are crushing it and doing beautiful things. Or just getting by. Like there doesn't need to be. That's why we can't let other people control the narrative because we know that's not true, and they know it's not true. But we gotta show our people off. We gotta show off our Venezolano homegirls and homeboys. Like, look, this is what they're doing, and they're adding to it. That's what I tell people all the time. I mean, especially Colorado, as you said, is growing, is still growing. I'm like, brother, this is the best thing that could happen to the city.
Thank
You guys are gonna have more restaurants, more diverse restaurants, more beautiful people, more beautiful babies being born. Like you need color here, especially if you were in Colorado 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
You knew that it was and I guess as proud as I am to be what I am, like it was just us and there wasn't no Dominican representation, no Colombians, no
I mean,
or there was small amounts.
I can
take that back. I take that
can
back.
testify to that. When I moved to Las Vegas, so I had a whole like reverse culture shock experience coming from
Backwards,
Colorado. I was going to school with nothing but white kids in Littleton and in Highlands Ranch. Then I went to Las Vegas and I went to school with so much diversity. People from Middle Eastern, Asian, all the beautiful Spanish country, and everybody spoke their native tongue. So that was another like layer of not just from the Latino community of people saying, "How come you don't speak Spanish?" I had people from the Asian community,
like, what?
from the Middle Eastern. You don't know Spanish?
What's wrong with you?
So I got an
reverse
culture shock of everyone banging on my head.
Right.
Like, how are you not proud of your culture? So that made me dive deep into my roots and try to find out, we've never been white.
Exactly.
What are we? And then my grandma was like, we're Spanish, Hito. We're not Mexican. And I'm like, well, why is this so much
That's a whole
divide?
other thing.
So I had to go and find my own roots and fit. I'm still trying to find out my whole roots.
That's the thing. We're still trying to do that. And I think that's what we're talking about earlier, just pushing that. Like, I'm not saying, okay, you may like this culture, but look into where you're from, and I bet you that you're gonna like or even love that culture more than this American one, because you're gonna be like, oh damn, that's why I talked a little different growing up. That's why I look a little different, and I have that dancing bone porque soy Latino, and like a lot of it starts to make sense when you dive deep into it, and it'll never happen for you, and it'll never click with you until you take the time and just. You don't have to do research. Just go ask your tia, go ask your grandpa. Take 10 minutes to talk to your grandpa.
Yeah.
And they're gonna give you a world of knowledge and information that no book, no YouTube video will ever give you.
Well, yeah.
Do that.
To add on to that, that kind of goes in with what we're doing. Like you said, we're documenting what it's like in 2025 of Denver, where you can, if you're fortunate enough to still have your grandparents, go talk to them because they have that true experience.
The authentic knowledge.
It's authentic. It's
not what the paper report is, not what
Yeah.
you can find in the archives of
That's
the library.
You want to go to YouTube in 1960?
Yeah.
Go to your grandparents. Their perspective, and now we live in this digital age where people are putting their perspectives of their lives, and it's a beautiful thing. And we're just we're able to do it and document the beautiful city and our beautiful people, and it's great. I think we live in the best times, even though at times
They could be
people
tricky.
are like, oh my God, it's like, well, would you want to live 50 years ago when we were
did.
really
Like,
being
exactly.
oppressed? You want to live 500 years ago when we were really oppressed? Do you want
That's what I mean. Like, right now we have access to so much information.
it's never been so
resources.
leveled out for the resources and information for everybody to get it. I mean, I remember growing up, I mean, we weren't broke, but we weren't rich
Exactly.
either. Like, we were probably lower middle class, or, I mean,
I'm
I
sure
went
we
to
were-
school
I'm
with,
sure we were broke, but our parents never made us
It made
feel
it feel
that
like
way.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a beautiful
went
thing in
to-
itself, brother.
we went to school with rich white kids. They all had computers.
But you gotta
they
get
had
it
all
brokest
this
ones
stuff.
there, right?
Right.
Like we were in there, but we were the brokest ones in there, right?
We didn't have
like
internet.
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet.
Yeah, cable.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't have to go to the
Yeah.
library.
We had a
to go
black
to the
box.
internet where everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you guys have internet? You guys don't
Exactly.
have internet? You can come over my house and create your
Exactly.
project. And like, it's those types of
They
things.
bought
that-
us an Apple computer that just it was already
It was already old. It was like, it was the
already-
original
They got-
Macintosh. And
Yeah.
this was in.
Yeah.
They got it at a yard sale, huh?
No, like,
They got it at the
like,
swap meet.
no.
Yeah.
Look,
hand down.
This is
hand
it,
down.
it was my educated cousin who was at CU. See, the resources
hand-me-down, yeah.
of stuff for people from our backgrounds, it's leveled out now,
Exactly.
but there was a time where we didn't have a computer, you didn't have a phone, like, but now it's pretty leveled out. Even if you have, what is it, the free phone, the Obama phone,
Yeah.
like we have all
access to that,
access
brother.
to a lot of the same
Yeah.
information. It's just you got to get creative. You got to just get to it.
Yeah.
Just like our ancestors, the ones. My grandma, she worked in the beet fields. Like, so we all share the same struggle. Even though she was an American citizen as a child, she was working in the beet fields, working the fields as a farm
dropped
worker.
out of
She's the same
elementary
age
school.
as Cesar Chavez.
Damn.
And so those rights that Cesar Chavez was fighting for was from my grandma's generation.
Exactly.
We all share the same struggles, the same oppression. It becomes to recycle over and over again. But with the power of technology to get information and exchange information,
Exchange, share
and
knowledge.
inform
Yeah.
people, we have such an advantage today.
Exactly.
As much as people may knock the internet and say, you could organize something so fast. There's
brother.
YouTubers and people that are like, meet at this park, and
Exactly.
people will come.
They'll show up.
You've never been able to have that power, and that scares a lot of people.
And that's the thing. Ask our, not even our great grandparents. Ask our uncles. Ask your dad. Like, hey, could you do that back then? They're like, no. So like you said, we're always fighting. You know what I mean? The oppressor. We're always trying, but now we have this advantage, and it's a cell phone. It's literally a world within itself. So you have a voice. You have a way to share your voice. Use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage. Use that to organize. Use that to mobilize. Whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, like, you have literally the world at your fingertips. Like,
Right.
now, that was always like a saying, right? Like, oh, you have the world at your fingertips. That's never more true than now. So use that to your advantage. Start your platform. Start that business that you want to start, because it's so easy to connect with people now.
Right.
Easier more than ever, right? There's no
that's
waiting.
the easy
It's like,
part.
Yeah.
go.
You still have to put
You
in.
still
work.
have
Of
to.
course,
You still
know,
have
I
to
mean,
put in
course.
work all the time.
Mhm.
It's a grind. It's like, I mean, you see all these guys on these podcasts. Choose your hard.
Yeah.
Do you want to be living a hard life where you're struggling, or do you want to have to work hard and not struggle? It's an exchange.
can
You have to
choose.
choose
Yeah.
your hard, and that's what it is. I mean, you have to be consistent in
Exactly.
everything that you do. You have to be consistent. But sometimes some of these guys are pushing it too harsh down people's
Down their throat.
because everybody's level of consistency is different.
Exactly.
Some people need to be a little bit more consistent than others. Some people are super consistent, and it's like, you're a little too consistent. No, I'm saying you can never be
Pushing
too
it, right.
consistent, but everybody's hard is harder. Somebody could take more pain. They could work more hours than the next person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as you know in your heart that you're working hard and you're trying every single day to get up, to get that business going, to get that barbershop going, to make sure that your page and your podcast is going, as long as you're contributing every single day, you'll find success.
Exactly.
I mean, we're still trying to find success. I mean, I'll be honest, we look successful. No. But it's an everyday grind.
Right.
And with more success, more money, more problems,
responsibility.
more responsibility. It's just the more you have, the more
attention it requires.
Yeah.
Your attention used to
exactly.
just be one thing. Now, if you got 10 things on your plate, then all those 10 things require time, and time is it's scarce, right? And it's a good problem to have, though. I always tell people, I'm like, I'd rather have that problem of not knowing what to do or how to divide my time than being like, oh, I wish someone would call me or offer me this, right? Like, I like being like, oh, I have it's a blessing now to choose or to have to dedicate time to certain things. I'd rather have those problems than the other quote unquote problems, right? It's good to have decisions.
Yeah.
Carnales, just to finish up, Abe, is there anything that you want to share that you think is same thing as your brother was saying, a recipe for success, or anyone that's trying to get started, whether it's business, whether it's in general, what have you seen that works for you specifically?
You have to be willing to work with many different types of people. And I think you just have to have an understanding, and it's hard for people to open their minds to other people. So I think you just have to understand that there's lots of different types of people in this world. They are going to think different ways that you think. They were brought up different ways. And just have the respect for those people, and just understand that they're a human being and they come from somewhere else. And
Different
I think
ideas,
as long as you don't stay, you don't have to open up to them. You don't have to think the way they think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. You just have to just understand that even though they grew up so different than you, that doesn't make you any better than them or them
Or
any
vice
better.
versa. Yeah.
So I think don't be
open.
proud and just be willing to work with others.
Right. What about you?
Yeah.
The young influencer, or even the old influencer that's like, man, I've always wanted to do
Just
this.
shoot your shot,
Shoot your
man.
shot.
Just
Right.
Try it.
shit, get off the pot. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's what it takes. I mean, it took me all my experiences to get to this point, and all your struggles and all your traumas sometimes are your strengths, because you endured all that, and you're able to push through to the next thing. And just piggyback off what he said, just be mindful of other people's perspective. Everybody has a different perspective, and there's no success without working with others. You have to, at one point in time, you're going to have to work with others. You're going to have to collaborate. You're going to have to contact the studio. You're going to have to talk to the guy that gets you the studio. If you can't work well with people or collaboration,
Good luck.
you're not going to have success. If you own a store and you have to call your vendors, and if you clash with your vendors on the phone,
never gonna work.
It's never going to work. You have collaboration and community, not competition. That's the recipe for success for anyone. That's the recipe for success for our community.
Exactly.
We got to be able to work well with each other. That don't mean that everybody has to work together, but just at least work with the folks that you are working with well. Work well with that, and you should be successful.
Brothers, thank you guys so much. I was excited to get you guys in here. Excited to see what Denver Foos keeps turning into and keeps evolving. I know you guys have tons of other projects are going on, but I feel like Denver Foos specifically, you guys contribute something to the city that other platforms don't. So congratulations. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to keep seeing the merch. We'll share all your information on there. Right. But much success and continue blessing you guys, and I'm so proud of you guys.
Right on. Thank you so much for having us on the podcast. Beautiful studio. You're awesome yourself. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother.
Blessed to be on.
Yes,
always pushing that positivity, and again, keep being that voice for Denver specifically, and for bigger stuff. And you guys keep killing it. And congratulations again.
Thank you.